PIX11 is your local election headquarters, and we are keeping tabs on each of the candidates for New York City mayor as we count down to Election Day next Tuesday. The candidates spent yesterday at rallies and speaking to religious leaders across the city.
We're also keeping tabs on early voting. Nearly 165,000 New Yorkers already cast their ballots this weekend. Those are just 2 days, which could set the pace for record turnout in this year's mayoral election. New York City Council Speaker Adrienne Adams here to discuss what's at stake for every New Yorker in this election. Good morning to you, Speaker. Great to have you here.
Good morning. Great to be back.
So let's talk about early voting. The numbers are astonishing to see. I mean, it's quadrupling what we saw in the first couple days 4 years ago, right? Not strong turnout, though, in your borough of Queens. Staten Island, Bronx. What do you do? What do you attribute it to? It's early.
Yeah. You know, things are going the way that they normally go.
Yeah.
When we check out all of the boroughs, Manhattan is always at the top. Brooklyn is the biggest borough. It makes sense. And then Queens usually comes in. We're coming in. I voted yesterday. I usually vote early anyway. So, oh, no, we're coming in. We're going to do our thing.
Good.
Okay, well, that's good. Oh, besides voting for the next mayor, there's also some ballot proposals, which can be confusing for a lot of folks. There's a new ad that's out with some familiar faces. Let's take a look at it, and then we'll talk about it on the other side.
In every borough,
every neighborhood,
and every block,
the rent
or the mortgage
is too damn high.
Our housing crisis is driving too many New Yorkers out.
Let's stop that with proposals 2 through 5
to help working families,
keep seniors and future generations here,
and build thousands of new affordable housing units
across every block.
We can't afford to wait.
Flip your ballot and vote yes.
That's the key phrase, affordable housing. So how are these ballot proposals addressing affordable housing in the city?
Yeah, I think the ad is very interesting because folks are talking about affordable housing and let's do this, but they're not telling you that they want to do this without the voices of the people being involved in this decision making. So the ballot proposals are misleading.
They're confusing.
They're very confusing.
So you're obviously voting no, and there have been some mailers that have been put out there urging people to vote no on them. It's very interesting because it seems like city officials are split on this issue. Those are some voices voting yes, you and a lot of the council voting no. Are you no because it's looking to take power away from the council and give it to the mayor?
Look, these proposals aren't really about housing. Our opposition isn't about housing. It's not about member deference. It's not about power for the council. This is about erasing the voices of communities, of residents, of your neighbors, of our community boards, of our civics, voices that their duly elected representatives bring to the negotiating table in their behalf after listening to them.
Currently, though, just to be clear, right? Affordable housing is on the table. It has to go through the community board. It has to go through the local council member to get approval to move forward.
It goes through a lot more before it ever gets to us.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're talking about 900 days when development is first proposed. So within those 900 days, 700 of those days are spent up front. They are pre-work, pre-ULURP, agency work, environmental studies. Before it ever gets to the council, we have 65 days out of 900. How did we get to be the problem?
Yeah.
So 65 days out of 900 days. So this isn't about fast tracking and the council being the problem. This is about some other stuff. And what we're contending is that this is going to give more power to developers to do whatever they want.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily affordable, guys.
Well, see, I think that's the part that a lot of voters are confused about because they're saying, well, these are the neighborhoods that need housing and they're going to make this happen faster.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to us why we shouldn't vote for that.
Well, again, if we're talking about just building housing and building it affordably, we are taking away thousands and thousands of jobs from union workers in the process of working with communities to make this happen. We can look at developers and the way that things were done in the past. I remember about 10 years ago, people were always talking about greedy developers. We got away from that. At least 4 years ago, under my leadership in the city council, we have been the most pro-housing council in a generation. 94% of all housing proposals that have come to this council have been passed, over 130,000 units. So what are we really talking about here?
Yeah, I want to get to ICE raids, but I do have one question just on this issue because it's confusing for New York when you read them. But then you see a split on the elected officials. Why is it that we're seeing folks who aren't in the council, who aren't getting power taken away from them to give to the mayor like the city council would be, allegedly, according to what you're saying. Like Mark Levine, why are they out there saying yes?
I can't really answer for them because a lot of them have been on the city council. Yeah. And I dare say, had they still been in these seats, I don't believe that they would be saying the things that they're saying right now and speaking in behalf of these misleading ballot proposals.
All right. Before we end this, let's switch gears and talk about the ICE raids.
Yeah.
How does this actually work? Do the federal authorities, do they have to contact local police before they conduct these ICE raids, or do they just come in and...
I don't know that process. I believe that they are given that local authorities are given a heads up. And then I think that it kind of just stops there. Don't hold me to that because I don't know. What I do know is that NYPD takes care of stings when it comes to vendors and other things in the city of New York. We do not need to see militarization coming into this city to create chaos and fear.
A lot of this had to do last week specifically with street vending, and that's what allegedly they were targeting, right? Which is, again, like you said, a bit of an NYPD issue rather than a federal issue. But there are these bills in the city council. Where are they at and getting passed? I know there was a back and forth with the mayor, vetoing it, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, well, this summer we did pass legislation to decriminalize street vending, and that's not legalizing. Some people get it confused.
Yes.
Yeah, the decriminalizing is not legalizing behavior. This is just to make sure that their civil penalties can be enacted, and that can be very, very high fines, instead of creating felonies and basically ruining people's opportunities for education and for work in a different space or sphere. So we do have more legislation. We would like to see vendor reform in the city. We think it's very needed, so we do have more legislation going through the process.
But when you see all of this happening, though, you know, with these ICE raids, a lot of people are asking, what's the deal with the sanctuary city laws? Like, does that just go out the door with the feds?
Oh, Hazel, what a good question. I can start by saying we have seen a trampling of the Constitution with this administration. So I think part of it is that, and just doing what this president wants done. We've seen billions of dollars go into ICE now, unprecedented dollars going into ICE. And we've seen cities being taken over when they already have places, their own police forces already in place to do that work. I think that a lot of it is for political theater. I don't think that it's necessary. Most of these cities, including New York, crime is actually down. So what are we really talking about here in bringing this in? I think that it's to put on a show. I think some of it is to deflect from other things going on in the White House right now as well. And I don't think that it's necessary, particularly here in New York. We know what we're doing. We have the best police force on the planet. Why would Donald Trump want to do this to New York? We're the economic engine of the whole state and the nation. We need tourism here. We need for the economy to be sustained and for the economy to thrive. This is going to detract and deter from what our goal is as a city, and that is to thrive.
All right, City Council Speaker Adrienne Adams, always good to have you here.
Great to be here.
Thanks for taking the time. And we'll be right back.